Don't you ever in your motherfucking life try to play me in public. Simone Biles' husband sparks outrage. Disrespectful. Simone Biles is trending after her husband revealed in an interview that he had no idea who she was when they met, and people are incredibly unimpressed. Biles, the most decorated gymnast in history and widely considered the greatest of all time, is married to Green Bay Packers safety Jonathan Owens. The pair started dating in 2020 after they met on the celebrity dating app Raya. On a recent appearance on the Pivot podcast, Owens revealed he had never paid attention to gymnastics, and when Biles made the first move, he had never heard of the four-time Olympic gold medalist before. Angering people even further, when host Ryan Clark asked Owens if he considered himself the catch in the relationship, Owens quickly agreed that he did. He revealed that he had also been, quote, afraid to commit. Literally had been on the app for a couple days, man, and it's like she pops up and I'm like, let me see who this is. I had never really paid attention to gymnastics, so it piqued my curiosity.
Honestly, don't get into no long shit, bro. I gotta ask you, man. God damn, y'all boys scared. Bro, as us pretty red dimes as we are, how in the hell did you pull Simone Biles? And I love this football talk, bro. I gotta get to it. I'm over here rubbing my knees trying to ask this.
Hey, Chad, I wanted to tell him, he's talking about being looked over. Now, when the right people look at you. You know what I'm saying?
How did you do that, bro?
Man, it's really how she pulled me, man. That's the question.
Oh,
man.
Lord Jesus. Now you with Freddie. Now it's back. Now you
listen,
with
I'm gonna tell you, organic story, man. So I just got to Houston. I probably have been to Houston 7 months. I was single at the time, you know, so I'm just living, being me and myself. And COVID had just hit, but I had just went to Arizona, and one of my boys was like, hey, man, you gotta check out this app, you know? And I'm like, nah, I'll check it out. Like, what is it? It was called Raya at the time. So basically it's like a dating app, but you know, you have to go through certain like criteria to make sure that you're who you are. So literally have been on the app for a couple of days, man, and it's like she pops up and I'm like, let me see who this is. Gymnastics, I ain't never, you know, I never really paid attention to gymnastics, so it piqued my curiosity, you know, so I'm like, okay, I'll see what's up. I swiped her and it said we matched, so I'm just like, oh, okay, so I'm gonna see what's up. So I go do my workout and I come back and I get like, I had some likes on my Instagram, you know, and I'm like, oh, this might be. I'm like, okay. So I see what's up, and then I still waited. I'm like, man, I'm gonna wait till I, you know, take a shower and everything. Then I come back to my phone, and then she messages me on the app, like, hey, you know what I mean? And man, this gotta be fake. Like, I don't know. I didn't know who she was at the time, but like the first thing that I saw was that she just had a bunch of followers. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, she gotta be good. I promise you, I'm a real life story. When she won the Olympics, I was in college, and we didn't have NBC, we didn't have Olympic channels, and we're in camp. Late July, early August, so I'm not paying attention to, you know, so I never would have had a moment to where I would have watched, like, you know.
Jonathan, I'm gonna let you finish your story, man. Continue.
But like I was saying, man, she messaged me. This was like a Tuesday, and we were texting back and forth, and then we hung out Friday, man. And we couldn't do much as COVID happened. Everything was shut down, so she came through down to Houston. She lived in the suburbs, so she had to drive about 45 minutes to me. Then the rest is history, man. So
you was really the catch in.
I always say the men the catch, man. I always say we the catch, man.
Yeah, so she really booked you.
She did, though.
Is what you're saying.
Because I was fighting it.
So in truth, if I say this out loud, was Jonathan Owens ain't really want Simone Biles. Is what you're saying.
At the time, I'm not going to say that.
That's what you're saying.
I was afraid. I was afraid to commit. I'm like, man, this is my third year, you know, I'm trying to, I'm like, it's kind of early. But, you know, like I said, man, it happened when you least expect it. And we hung out, man, it was like we hit it off instantly. You know, we just laughed the whole night.
Hold up, limitless, niggas to me, kind pinning it. I fought the head to witness it.
You know, I have seen this going around, and I honestly had only watched like 30 seconds of it when it was making the rounds on Twitter. Usually more context helps. More context did not help in this case. I actually feel more strongly about it now than I did by seeing the 30 seconds on Twitter. I would be so embarrassed. But Simone Biles didn't seem embarrassed. She seemed pleased with herself. She was smiling from ear to ear. Oh, I have mixed feelings about this because on one hand, I feel like it does not behoove us to be more outraged about the shenanigans of a woman's man than she is. So if she says that she likes it, if she conveys to us that she has no problem with it, if he is not being abusive, good for them. Hope that they live a happy life together. I hope that their marriage is long and successful. On the other hand, that's one side of Kim. On the other hand, I find it to be so, we'll be nice and say distasteful, the entire flow of that conversation. The entire trajectory of that conversation from that biracial man saying from one pretty red dime to another. What? You know, oh God, God, it's so hard, the progressive Kimberly and like the pragmatic Kimberly they really rub up against each other in these discussions because on one hand, it is fine for a woman to say, look, I'm in control of everything else in my life. I'm going to be in control of my romantic life. I see this man. He's cute to me. I'm going to go after him. I'm going to pursue him. I'm going to drive to him. I don't care if he doesn't know me or my achievements, even though I am one of the most visible athletes and most decorated athletes in the world, because we're talking about 2020. We're not talking about 2010. We're talking about 2020. Okay. That's on one hand. On the other hand, you know that I do genuinely believe that it is important for, if you are a woman who dates men, who wants to marry a man, who wants to partner a man, I do genuinely believe that it is important for him, when you like him, for him to love you more than you love him. I do believe that. And I know it's regressive. I know. I just think the dynamic of men being the bad bitches, I just don't think that in this world, it would make me uncomfortable. And so I think it's fine for men to feel themselves. I think it's fine for men to have high self-esteem. But when we're doing that, and I'm saying this as a woman in a year-long relationship with a Kappa. Okay. When we're doing that, I'm so pretty, I'm so cute, narcissism, vanity thing, and you're sitting next to Simone Biles, it's embarrassing. He's an attractive man. Like I said on Twitter, God never should have gave y'all light eyes. A light-eyed Negro is a terrorist. Quote me. A light-eyed Negro ain't gonna be no good 9 times out of 10. Because there is just a level of fawning that just I think most men cannot handle that power. The other thing, him going out of his way to say that he did not know who she was, I do think that feels false, but okay, if he says that he didn't know who she was, okay. But I just feel like, the emphasis on it is not even just him not knowing who she was. It's like emphasizing the fact that he is attractive and he is desirable and she he did not know her and she pursued him, and then the other men, the man who is generally like the reasonable one, I don't know his name, piping in to say, so you're the catch. And is it fair to say Jonathan Owens didn't want Simone Biles? Why would you do that? What's the utility of that? What does that do? What does it do to try to belittle or humble or disrespect the most decorated gymnast of all time? An incredibly accomplished, very visible, powerful, famous, rich, woman who has had to work tooth and nail to get her shit. What does that do? The other thing that this makes me think of is I say all the time that people generally are so lost with regard to power relations, because when I see people say, well, if the genders were flipped, nobody would say anything. Well, because we live in a patriarchy, because we live in a misogynistic society, because we do still live in a world where no matter what choice, romantic choice you make as a Black woman, whether it's dating up, dating down, dating laterally, dating an athlete, dating whoever, people are going to have shit to say. The impact on Simone is going to be different. It's going to be outsized. It's going to make her the subject of all of this discussion and all of this critique. That's the reason why talking about, oh, well, what if the genders were flipped makes no fucking sense. It's really difficult to deal with those fucking smooth-brained people. Okay? Like, join us in this world. Join us in these power relations. Join us in these gender relations, because that is irrelevant. And that, and then we have to, talk about, oh yeah, it comes, the desirability stuff and the beauty stuff. And, back to the conversation about Simone Biles and her hair and her being dark skinned. And here's where my critique comes from. And generally, when I discuss these things, my critique comes from the viewpoint of who is helped in this scenario and who is harmed. What power relations does this uphold? What power relations does it maintain? And do those power relations reproduce marginalization? I was never looking to Jonathan and Simone to be my Black love representation. So honestly, I'm not even, Kimberly's got a man at home, and I'm comfortably in my mid-30s, like I'm okay. But certainly I can understand the impact, the effect of seeing yet another representation of a GOAT, the best, an exceptional dark-skinned Black woman with kinky hair he's trying to play her. Don't you ever in your motherfucking life try to play me. Don't you ever. Baby, if you are a woman who dates men, it should be very clear to your partner from the start. Don't you ever in your motherfucking life try to play me in public. Don't make me the butt of the joke. It's not fun and games. Don't laugh with other people at my expense. Don't you fucking dare. Now that's just me. That's just me. Y'all get to do whatever you want. Y'all get to determine whatever parameters, whatever boundaries in your relationship that you want. That's just me. Don't you ever, ever, ever put me in a position where I have to defend you playing me. No. That does not work for me. But again, y'all do what you want. Y'all do what you want. Y'all do what you want. I am sensitive. I am cognizant of that. I also think it's very easy for the cisgender heterosexual male to get high off his own supply. No, no, no. The other thing that this makes me think of, the difficulties of finding a good partner when you are super visible. Everybody says, oh, well, the answer is just don't date down. Is that the answer? Oh, the answer is always date somebody who has more money than you. Then we see Cassie and Diddy. Is that the answer? Then we see Tiana and Iman. Is that the answer? We need to be honest. We need to be honest right now. We need to be honest right now, ladies. We are not going to be able to choose our way out of patriarchy. That doesn't mean just choose whoever. That does not mean just, get with the first man who winks. That don't mean to be with the first man who makes you feel good. It means that whenever some shit goes left, the instinct to blame the woman for making the choice that she made ain't no good choices. Okay, I will say there are no fail-proof choices. There's no guarantees. No guarantees in patriarchy. So let's make peace with that now. In the discourse, it would be easy for people to say, well, at least she got a ring. At least she made it down the aisle. Okay, good for her. Congratulations. Congrats. So happy for them. I find that to not be a good promo for hetero marriage. I do think that if you are a woman who has any level of visibility, that there are, things that you might want to look out for. And it's hard because you don't want somebody who likes the fact that you're visible too much, but you also don't want him to be resentful of it. My boyfriend before my current boyfriend did not love it when people would come up to me in public and gush and want to engage me for 5 minutes when he was standing there. He didn't like it. I could feel the tension. I could feel the eye roll. He would say things after like, oh, I'm chopped liver. Like, I'm a person too. And it's like, nobody knows you, hun. They don't know you, hun. You want me to introduce you to a stranger? They don't know you. I'm not sure what to do about that because I do think generally men feel like they should be in a heterosexual relationship, the star of the show. The irony is that Biles raises the husband's profile. Right. I also think that if you are a visible, successful woman, there is a dynamic that's normalized where you are expected to always cater to or coddle or boost up your partner's ego because you get so much affirmation and so much validation. So there is a kind of overcompensation that happens because you feel embarrassed or ashamed that the spotlight is always on you. But as I saw somebody say on Twitter, people really need to be studying Alexis Ohanian, who is Serena Williams' husband now, father of her 2 children. The way that he is always her number one supporter, her number one champion, the way that he takes every single opportunity to big her up, to call her the greatest of all time, to talk about how lucky he is to be with her, how much he desired her, how much he loves being a father, how much he has shifted his views because he is married to a Black woman and the father of biracial children. I think that is a great model. I appreciate the way that Alexis consistently handles the shots and the subs, right? That Drake stuff. I think he did an incredible job there. I know that people are going to make this a racial thing. I do think that there is a racial component, but I don't. I do think there's a little bit of a racial component there. I do. I'm sorry. I do. I never worry about Serena Williams' husband embarrassing her in public. And that's rare.